Welcome back. So today I'm going to talk about coming up on about 60 days doing carnivore and some things that are working, some things that are not working with carnivore, also with giving up coffee. And then I'm going to get into some blood sugar things since this past day or so I had a hypoglycemic event, so I had to eat a bunch of carbs this time, like the most carbs I've had to eat since I started this and just talk a little bit about what that looks like, how to get back on track, and maybe it will help someone else who maybe isn't diabetic and had to eat carbs, but maybe if you just went off the diet, ate carbs, you're feeling down about it, and just wondering how long it's going to take to get back on track. So I'll start with the carnivore diet and what is working. So what has been going really well, and I didn't get on the carnivore diet to lose weight. Um, or for general kind of fitness reasons, although that is a big thing in terms of working out and feeling good and everything. But my main issues were diabetic related. So the main things that are working for me with the carnivore diet is my blood sugar is so much better. Um, my energy is better. My eyes seem to have really started to heal in terms of my retinopathy. I had lots of eye issues before starting carnivore diet, and I still do, but the progression has seemed to stop, and also I'll just call them floaters because that's one of the symptoms of retinopathy, at least for me. The floaters have reduced drastically. So blood sugar, energy, eyes, also skin. My skin is looking a lot better. I won't go into detail because it's kind of hard to describe, but just the feel and appearance of my skin has improved. And that's one thing for diabetics that can go awry is you get all kinds of different symptoms depending on how high your blood sugar is. So those are the big things for me, and those are perfect for me because that's the main thing that I'm trying to fix with the carnivore diet. So things that not necessarily aren't working, but I just haven't really noticed anything huge are um, my sleep is still pretty bad. Um, Carnivore diet hasn't helped with that at all. I still have lots of insomnia issues, and there might be something underlying there that isn't necessarily going to be helped by carnivore, or maybe I just need more time. This has been 60 days about, so maybe just more time, but just want to be upfront about what is working and what is not. The other thing that's up and down, some days it's excellent and some days it's not, and I think I've got it tamped down to my protein intake because, as you know, if you eat too much protein, that can um, your body can turn that into glucose. So my blood sugar spikes during hard workouts are kind of hit or miss. So I think on days when I have a little bit too much protein and my body is changing some of that into glucose, I'm getting those spikes in blood sugar from the glycogen out of my liver. When you do a hard workout, your liver will put glycogen out to give you an energy boost from glucose because you're using a different kind of energy system than you are when you're doing an endurance type of workout. So that's kind of hit or miss. But overall, um, each time I have to eat carbs for like a hypoglycemic event, it just reinforces how excellent the carnivore diet is. So I don't expect everything to turn around on a dime. It's only been 60 days. 60 days is nothing in the span of um, how long I've been diabetic and how long I've dealt with certain issues. So overall, I have nothing but good things to say about the carnivore diet, but I just want to go through things that I'm experiencing. In terms of coffee, it's been a little bit surprising. So I would say the biggest benefit to giving up coffee for me is the improvement in my digestion. So before I was having like acid reflux and indigestion, and definitely revolved around my coffee intake. And while that wasn't a deal breaker for me when I was drinking coffee, because when you get addicted to this kind of thing, you just want to keep drinking it, that really has been nice with eating the higher fat diet because it just allows my body, I feel like, to absorb things and digest things better. Um, in terms of what's not really improved, again, sleep. I haven't noticed anything in terms of like more level energy level, um, less anxiety or better sleep that people talk about, anything like that. I did go through probably an extended, I had the physical symptoms of withdrawal, giving up coffee that a lot of people talk about in the first week or 2 weeks. And then I did feel like I had a massive drop off in energy as like a secondary withdrawal. And then I feel like that's kind of leveled off a little bit. But yeah, I'm still up in the air about coffee. It does have some benefits. It does affect my blood sugar a little bit. Caffeine does make my blood sugar go up a little bit. But coffee does have some other benefits to it. So, and I know you can do decaf, but I don't really see the point in spending the money on caffeine or on coffee. See, I Freudian slip there on caffeine slash coffee. I don't see the point in spending money on decaf without getting a little bit of an energy boost, a little bit of a mood boost from the caffeine. And I think tactically, if you need to use caffeine for those kind of things, I don't really see a problem with it if you're not having any other health issues. So I'm still up in the air about coffee. I'm not married to the idea of going back to it, and I'm not married to the idea of staying off of it. I think long term, what I might do is use it during certain times, like if I need a boost for doing some work or maybe a workout or something like that, but not lean on it so much as a crutch as I did before. So again, coffee is a complicated issue, and I know that the addiction to the caffeine and to the mood boost that you get and that kind of thing can affect your decision making when it comes to saying there is a big benefit or no benefit from coffee because the brain that's addicted to it is making the decision about whether to either stick with it or give it up. So it is a little bit complicated. So now I'll get on to the big issue that I'm going through right now, and I think it started yesterday. And I was going to put up some pictures of my blood sugar, but I might put up a couple screenshots, but I'm not sure I'm going to do that because I don't think your average person really gets much benefit from seeing blood sugar swings from a diabetic because unless you go through it and you understand what those swings feel like and what causes them, I don't think it really adds much to the conversation. So I'll just try to do a good job describing it. So I wanted to change my schedule for taking my super long-term insulin, Tresiba, from taking it at night and taking it to the morning. And so this stuff works over a 24-hour period, so it's difficult. You can't just change immediately. You have to kind of um, do it gradually so that you can overlap a little bit, but not too much so that you don't have double doses. Well, I don't know whether I overlapped a little bit too much or there's another possibility, and I've only had it a couple times with Tresiba, but I could have hit a blood vessel when taking one of the long-term shots, which makes it act a little bit quicker than normal. But I had a pretty severe hypoglycemia, and it was right around bedtime, and I was exhausted. And I had already eaten my carnivore diet meal, and so I was very full. And if you know, like if you eat a nice large um, carnivore meal, like a steak or even a burger or something like that with eggs, you feel satiated, like you don't want to eat any more food. And so I was having this low blood sugar event right after I had eaten this, and that's not going to bring your blood sugar up to the point where if you're having hypoglycemia, you're going to be okay. So I just know this through experience. So what I had to do, because I could not eat more protein and more fat, and that's not quick enough to bring your blood sugar up, I had to eat carbs. And so I tried to eat the smallest amount I possibly could. I think I ate like a slice of apple first, and then I ate another slice of apple and nothing, it just was not working. So eventually I had to eat a bunch of actual high calorie, like dense calorie sugar. And so I won't say what I ate because it's irrelevant. I tried to do the least, um, I wouldn't say damaging, but I would try to do the cleanest version of carbs that I could. And then eventually it got to the point where it didn't matter. I just needed to get my blood sugar up. So what happens to me and probably most type 1 diabetics is once you do that, number one, you feel horrible because your body is not used to eating carbs. There's nothing pleasurable, at least for me, about the aftermath of eating carbs. So it's not like I look forward to some hypoglycemic event so I get to taste this or taste that. It's not fun. So ate a bunch of carbs and then I'm on I call it the roller coaster to hell because what winds up happening is your blood sugar spikes back up. It's a rebound effect. And then you try to correct it, and inevitably, what happens is it's stubborn. You have to take a little bit more insulin, and then it starts to go low again. Then you have to eat more carbs, and you have to just be very careful, and you have to just take it very slowly and not try to aggressively get back into range. So, yesterday evening, I was dealing with that. Then all night, I was dealing with that because my blood sugar started to go back down again. Then I had to eat. Then it went back up again. So I was in a range from um, in the probably in the 80s to the all the way up to about 220 during that time. Again, going up, going down, trying to get it back down, going too low, trying to get back to the middle. And really, you just have to take your time. So I'm still dealing with that today. And the reason I'm telling you this is for a couple reasons. Number one, I see a lot of people get really, really down on themselves for quote unquote cheating on the diet. And I've spoken about this before, but when you're diabetic, you will have to be forced to cheat on the carnivore diet when you have low blood sugar. It will happen. Maybe it doesn't happen very often, hopefully. And from my experience, I might have to have a little bit of carbs, maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. And by a little bit of carbs, I mean like a slice of apple, just something to bring it back up if it's going down. And obviously, you're not going to use fats and protein to correct a low if it's going low too fast. So I've seen people get really down on themselves. So the reason I'm sharing it primarily is to kind of let people know, in a type 1 diabetics experience, you're forced to cheat and you're forced down this path where you're feeling great. You know the carnivore diet is doing wonders for you, and you still have to eat carbs because that's just the nature of the beast. Sometimes blood sugar is not going to do what you think it's going to do, and you're going to go low, and you're going to have to eat straight up sugar. Just what the one thing that you know you don't want to do, and the thing that you know is going to send you down a path you don't want to go down. So taking the emotion out of that and just saying, you know what? Sometimes you have to do things. Sometimes you make a choice to do things. It is what it is. Let it go and move on. So after that, the thing that you need to do, and this is my kind of go-to, is number one, working out. It could be a walk, it could be an actual workout, and then fasting. So some kind of extended fasting, and that's not something you absolutely have to do, but I find it helps. So some kind of extended fasting, a fasted workout, and then as your body starts to feel, if you're not testing your blood sugar, as your body starts to feel like it's a little bit more normal, then you can start adding back in the high fat, high protein diets or diet elements. But my suggestion is give your body kind of a break after you eat carbs. And then once you start to feel okay, then you can start adding that fat fuel again. but doing it right after you eat carbs, I think it might help with cravings if you're having really bad cravings because you've kind of altered those hormonal messages after you eat carbs. That's one possibility, but I think it helps to just let your body settle down after. And then when you get your first kind of, okay, now I'm hungry again, then you can start eating protein and fat. So, as I said, I'm making the video in the thick of it. So, right now, I'm still trying to get my blood sugar back to a point where it's just very flat and stable. And so I wanted to make the video while I was feeling those things, not after I feel good. I'm still feeling horrible from the carbs, and I'm probably going to feel horrible for 3 days after this. My blood sugar might even be back to being stable, but I can already feel my digestion and everything it's going to be like a 3-day process for my body to just purge all the junk that I had to eat. So just wanted to go through those things, kind of what's working with the carnivore diet, what's working with the lack of coffee, and what's not working, and a little bit maybe of encouragement if you fell off the wagon, if you had carbs and you feel like, well, I can't do this, I'm just going to quit. Don't quit. Just go right back to it. Just go right back to what you were doing. It's not a reflection on your character or yourself or anything like that. And think about it this way, you're 90% better than you were before when you were just not doing carnivore and eating carbs all the time. Even if you cheated, you're still way ahead of the game. So just go right back to it, and you'll start feeling better. And in a year, you can look back, and it's just going to be a blip on the screen. I mean, you're not even going to worry about that. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully my experiences at this right around 60-day mark um, give you some information if you're just starting, or if they confirm some things that you have experienced or they're different, um, and you're wondering why it's different. Leave a comment. If you can like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Also, if you leave comments, even if it's just a thumbs up or a word of encouragement or anything, the comments actually do help the video get suggested on other people's feeds. So I would really appreciate a comment. It doesn't have to be anything big, doesn't have to be anything mind blowing. Just take the time to comment, and I would really appreciate it. So thanks very much. I'll keep you updated on how things go over this next like 3-day period, and try to get out some other videos that are a little more interesting than a simple update.